Welcome. We have a crowd here in the room as well. So I'm Pontus Borgström, if you haven't seen me earlier today, somewhere in one of the rooms or presentations. I'm not going to present here. I'm just going to introduce one of my colleagues. And he's not sitting in Gothenburg, he's sitting in India. So I think we have a better connection to India than Gothenburg, hopefully. But without further, let's say, discussion on this, Vishal, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Pontus. Hello, everyone. I'm Vishal Kulkarni. I'm an integration architect working at SKF. It's been an association of over 2 years for now. I come with a good experience in the integration space, working on different aspects of integration, be it A2A, B2B, API-led integrations, data integrations, migrations, etc. So primarily my roles and responsibilities are to design and develop enterprise application integration solutions. So today I'm going to present about how we are using or doing enhanced monitoring of B2B flows using the B2B monitor component, which is part of SAP's integration suite. Yeah, quickly about SKF. Hans Olin, who is a B2B product owner, he did cover this in the morning session, but for the benefit of those who couldn't attend it, I just want to do a quick run through about the same. SKF. So we are we supply to more than 40 plus industries globally with a wide range of products. Mainly our offerings are what we see on the screen, starting from bearings and units to seals, lubrication systems, condition monitoring equipments, and services. Some numbers. So 1907 is when we were established, catering to 40 odd industries with a vast distributor network. But yeah, we do provide products and services directly as well. And we have a global presence. With this, so coming to EDI at SKF, so we have close to 20 million number of EDI transactions for sales. 1,200 customers are connected to us using EDI methodology, and we use 15 different message types. And primarily, most of the first touch point from a system point of view, our customers are connected to using two of our external B2B providers. But then, yeah, so now with this, we take a look into the challenges and the need for B2B monitor. So yes, as Hans explained to us in the morning, we have started working on a new way of working, which is making use of integration advisor and cloud integration of SAP integration suite. So prior to this, most of our EDI maps were being done in our B2B provider side, but we have now started developing the EDI maps in-house as well using integration advisor, using the concept of MIGs and MAGs, and then we are using cloud integration layer as a runtime for executing these MAGs, and also to connect to our B2B providers and also to in-house internal SAP system. So with this, so B2B operations, IT operations, this is quite an important aspect, not just for B2B, but yeah, in general for A2A as well. And specifically for B2B, it's important that the storage and the search of the the EDI files is quite important. It's important to store these EDI files, especially from a monitoring failures point of view. Let's say there could be data related issues, invalid data issues, connectivity issues, etc. And then it's important that we have access to these files from an analysis point of view and to take corrective actions. These corrective actions could be done internally at the code layer, or also by the business people, so that they can correct the data and resend these messages. But yeah, the important aspect is the storage and search of the EDI files. So when we started, we were making use of only CIs, a CI monitoring layer, the standard monitoring option that comes with the cloud integration layer. There were definitely certain limitations to it. So there were a couple of approaches. One is whatever input we were receiving, the interchanges we were receiving, we could store them as MPL attachments, that is the message processing log attachments, using groovy script. But then there's a limitation of 1 GB storage space for that. So that was a problem. And this 1 GB is on a daily basis. After that, a circuit breaker gets activated and we cannot store any more messages, even if we have the groovy script written for logging the payloads. Other option was to do persistence of the messages in data stores. But again, there's a limitation of 32 GB, and this 32 GB is the database size for the entire cloud integration layer. And then our volume of B2B messages, if not today, it's quite high. And we also have a lot of messages flowing in for our A2A integrations as well. So this was another limitation. And then another problem was that there was no end-to-end view of what happens to an interchange the moment it enters the cloud integration layer, at what stage it has failed. So there was no end-to-end view to it. So, but yes, there were certain workarounds as well. With all these limitations, what we did was we were sending alert emails along with payload attachments, but this was only in case of failure. So we said, okay, if everything works fine, it's fine, but at least save the payloads for failure scenarios, and then so that it helps us do further analysis. And otherwise, there we had a dependency on our B2B providers as well. In the cloud integration layer, we were storing some key information like the interchange control number or an IDOC number for outbound cases. And with this information, we can actually go to our B2B provider and get these payloads and do further analysis. But yes, but it's not a complete solution, not a solution that would make us happy from an operations point of view. So that is where we found this need for B2B monitoring. And let's see how does it look and feel of the B2B monitoring component. So I've just taken a few of the sample screenshots from what we're using. So this is the first page that we would see for all the interchanges that we would have received. We see that there's different options based on which we can search for specific messages. It could be based on status. It could be from a specific date range. We want to extract what has happened to a particular interchange, or error categories, and interchange control number, or also based upon the document standards. So it gives a nice overview of all the interchanges that we have received for a particular date range. It's a single point of for the B2B operations team. And then what we see here are the different interchanges that we have received. If we take each of these entries as a business document, there's a reason for highlighting this as a business document, but because we will see how these terminologies are used in the code level as well, the groovy script level, which is responsible for creating all these business documents at the B2B monitoring page. So this is just an overview of all the messages that we have received. Going further, if for statuses, there are different options available. So we can, if we want to analyze only the failed messages, yeah, we can highlight only the failed messages and look into it. So we can narrow down the filter criteria. Similarly, for error categories, we can narrow down based on the filter options that are available. So this is just to show what options we have in B2B monitoring. Going further, yeah, I've taken screenshots of some of the messages that we have processed of different statuses, completed status, what happens when a message is being processed. Let's say we have received a message, it is still undergoing transformation, but not yet sent to the receiver system. So we can see the status of it, and also certain messages which have failed. We can see the details of the failure, what category of failure it is, and also what is the error message. So this is some of the information that we would see. And for every interchange, we can generate a system-generated document ID as well. And this is also something which we will see at the code level as well in the groovy script. And we can drill down into further details. Where we can get the sender-related information. What is the message type? What document standard does it use? Is it EDIFACT standard, ANSI XML standard, or if it is an IDOC? And what are the different data parameters from sender identifiers, qualifiers, And all of these information is available to us when we open a particular B2B document. And what we see in the bottom, these events, this is a very important aspect. So what happens at the runtime is that when we receive a message, so we would want to store the input payload. So that is when this event is created, and we can also we have a reference to the cloud integration monitoring layer as well for that particular business document. So similarly, we can create events when the mapping program is completed. So the output is generated. So that is where the receiver interchange assembled event comes into picture. And same way, we can also create an event once the message has been successfully sent to the target system. And all of this has a easy reference to the cloud integration monitoring page as well. Going further, yes, this is the most important aspect, the storage of the payload. So what we see here is one of the sender interchange payload being stored. This is the same way we can also see the receiver interchange payload also getting stored in this. And so this definitely helps us during the operations point of view. We don't have to depend upon other teams to analyze the failures that we might encounter. Yeah, so this was on the monitoring UI level. So now we can deep dive into the Groovy script as well. But before that, yeah, if there are any questions, I would be happy to take. Okay.
I
yeah.
have one question. So
Yeah.
I'll take the microphone here.
What is the exact repository for these logs now? Is it and what is this UI built on? Is it using you can say REST-based programming on BTP itself, or?
Yeah, it's built on BTP itself. What I understand, I mean, since it is already built by SAP, what from the look and feel of it, I feel it's built based on Fury. It seems to be a Fury application. And when we integrate, so when we integrate this from the cloud integration layer to B2B monitoring, there is no REST APIs available. That's a hope that we have, that someday we will get REST APIs to send messages. But right now, there are certain reusable scripts that are provided by SAP, and there's an SAP class, Groovy script class, which is available for us to integrate with this B2B monitoring. And this is something which I will go in the next slides.
Yep, one more.
So one of the point that you mentioned, failure point, is the connectivity issues. Are you retrying the messages from the CI, or?
Yes, we are retrying from CI. So what we have built in, yeah, that is also something which I would show in the last slide. So what we're doing is we are storing that message in internal JMS queues, and also so that helps us from a retry point of view. And then we have also built in a logic to retry for only a specific number of times, which is more of a configurable parameter that we have built. So let's say for now we are using maximum retry entry as 3. So once that maximum entry is reached, we eventually send that message to a failure stage. But yeah, depending upon our needs, we can increase or decrease that maximum retry interval. Yeah, not interval, but the count.
One follow-up question. So CI does not support auto scaling. So the connectivity issues that are unpredictable, for example, if you have unplanned downtime, how are you managing with this storage in the JMS for the read?
Yeah, right. So see, JMS, again, we have limitations with respect to the message size itself. So far, we have not yet faced, because right now it's a pilot program that we have done. So currently the volumes might be too low. But yes, this is an important point that we have to see. So right now, it's all, when it is successful, there's no problem as such, because the queues are getting cleared as and when a message is successful. But yeah, it's the scaling comes into picture when we have a lot of failures, maybe because the target system is down for a longer duration. So that's a problem that we have to look into. But as and when the target system is available and up and running, it shouldn't be much of an issue for us.
Wait a minute.
Hi,
there is unlimited number of queues in CPI, so you can extend if you need more storage.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
We have increased a lot. So
That's nice. Thank you.
one more
Thanks, Ben.
thing, the MPEL attachments are you don't have any limit in CF for it, so you don't have this circuit breaker.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now you're on again.
Yeah. Thanks, Pontus. Okay. Now let's get into a little bit of what happens behind the scenes in groovy script, and this is something which we do at the integration layer. So whatever we see on the screen is something which is a reusable scripts which are provided by SAP itself, and we have fine-tuned it to meet to our needs. So what is highlighted here, underlined here, is the B2B monitoring API, which is the SAP class for creating business documents based upon the different events that we saw previously, which could be a create event or an error event or a sent event. So different events, and we create and update the business document that has been generated. Yeah. So the first step is the create event, as in when we receive an interchange. So we use this create business document create event, and we can actually update that document with a lot of information, specifically about the sender IDs, receiver IDs, qualifiers, and so on and so forth. So there are certain specific methods that are available which updates this information into the document that is there. And then the last piece of code is what is used for attaching the payloads to that business document as well. Yeah, and these are the different processing status that are also being set. So processing is when the message is still under transformation. Retry is where we have a failure sending it to the target system, but then we are retrying based on a certain logic that is there in the system for a maximum of 3, or maybe something which can be increased or decreased depending upon our scenario. If a message has failed due to whatever reasons, data reasons or connectivity issues, so if it has failure with respect to data and mapping related issues, it goes into the failed status immediately. But then otherwise, if we have reached a maximum retry of 3, then we again put the message back into the failed status. And similarly, we have completed statuses. So these are some of the statuses that we saw in the B2B monitoring page. And these are different pieces of code that helps us update the business document. And yeah, apart from the create event, we have other events as well. Some of the examples are the document mapped events, and then when the document has been sent, or let's say in case of exceptions that we would have, some errors that we would have. So we have this create error event, and then we can set the different error categories as well. So in the previous screenshot, we had one of the errors, and which was actually of the category others. So this is at the code level, which is all part of the reusable scripts that SAP has provided. And this is the sample flow screenshot where we have made use of these events and the different methods that are there during the life cycle of the interchange that we receive. So the first part is the logging of the input payload. It could be an interchange, EDI document for the inbound cases and IDOC document for the outbound cases. Similarly, this is the place where we are doing all the transformation. So we have a process call. So this is using the integration advisor artifacts, the XSLTs that are generated from the mags. So once that is done, we are storing the output payload as well. And in case of any errors, yeah, we have the error events being captured here, for example, in all the exceptions of process. So this is where the create error event gets called in. So similarly, we have, this is the retry logic that we have. Let's say here we are internally putting the message to a JMS queue. Let's say in case of any errors that we have, or in further processes where we are sending to a target system, we have failures, we are calling the retry configuration. And then this is where we have defined the retry parameter. So we can configurable retry parameter. So depending upon that, we either retry the message, or once the retry is reached, we actually send it on a failure status. So this is how we are making use of these scripts and ultimately creating those business documents at the B2B monitoring layer. So yes, with this B2B monitoring, we are able to have a better control from our B2B operations point of view. This is quite a useful component for us from a B2B operations point of view. Yeah. So yeah, this is something we wanted to explain about our experience from where we started and to where we are to using the B2B monitoring component. Any questions, please?
Oh, any other questions? Yep. One.
You're storing the payload during the create event, right? So
Yeah.
it means that you are storing the payload for all the messages.
Yes, that's correct. All the messages.
Okay, so the storage again, the question. So
so here, see, when we are talking about B2B monitoring, what we have understood from SAP, it's actually a different database altogether. So there, the limit is not a problem. It's just that the retention period of all these messages is for a duration of 90 days from the time a payload is created. So it is available for us for 90 days duration.
Yep. Anything else? Yep, one more.
Just a, yeah, maybe a silly question, but could we also use it for you can say other integration, not specifically B2B? Like what is stopping us? Is there any limitation or restriction?
No, definitely not. We can actually use it for our A2A integrations as well. I mean, we can slightly modify the scripts which are available, and we can as well store these payloads for A2A integrations as well. Not a problem at all.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Anything else? No. They seem happy here. So that's nice also to show during this, how should we call it, the more techie side of things with code and so on, and not just only business, nice business slides.
Yep.
But I think one of the lessons that we have learned is, of course, that we are quite early adopting the integration advisor and for the B2B part. So it does not come without challenges, for example, for monitoring. But the good thing is that we have a good support by SAP, and it's happening a lot on the market. I just heard that a very large company is starting to implement to use this. So it's happening things. And I think from that perspective, when we look at, I mean, B2B in general, I mean, previously it was often that you had it somewhere else because of it was cheap, but nowadays it's not that cheap anymore. So that means that sometimes you do want to take in this into your own company as well. Good. And I'm here. Vishal, you can get his contacts from me if you want. And I'll be around today. I have the next session as well here in this room. And then just catch me up and if there is any questions. So Hans is also here as who is the product owner of the whole integration advisor and B2B. So he has even deeper insights on this if you want to discuss more. Otherwise, thanks a lot for attending. And thanks a lot for you, Vishal.
Thank you, Pontus. Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.